What's happening, everybody? It's me, Allie Burns from Picks and Parlays, and I've got another episode of Total Chaos. This one, we're covering college football week 4. We're talking Saturday, September the 20th. I've got these two expert handicappers from picksandparlays.net and winners and whiners here to give us their plays on the over or the under. Up first, our champion from last week, Scott Reichel. You beat Sniper West. You were 2-2-1 in those college picks. How's it feel to be back and wearing the crown?
Yeah, it feels good. Anytime I can come on your show is definitely nice, but it feels good to have a bit of I'd say, victory on my belt. I'm waiting for the crown to show up in the mail, but maybe you have to win a couple in a row before you get the crown sent your way.
We did often debate, should it be a crown? Should it be, I think Detroit Lenny liked to call it a belt. So, I also wanted to get a bunch of Burger King crowns and send them out to y'all. But every week there's a new winner. So it's a lot in shipping, Scott. It's a lot in shipping. Dre Rich, you tied with Tim Earl last week in the player props version of Total Chaos. I'm bringing you here to face the champ, Scott Reichel. How does it feel to be back?
I'm glad to be back, and it's good to be on a show with Scott Reichel. He's a pretty good handicapper, so I'm ready to see how I can do.
All right, let's get this party started. Once again, I'm going to give them 5 games happening this Saturday, September 20th. They're telling me if they're going over or under the total. Whoever gets the most correct answers comes back next week as the Total Chaos champion. Are you guys ready to roll?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, you're going first because you're the champ, and we're going to kick it off with number 22 Auburn at number 11 Oklahoma. The total on this one is set at a 47.5. Scott Reichel, is it going over or under that total?
So I'm going to go with the under for this game. Now, I understand that Auburn's been good offensively. They scored at least 31 points in all 3 games, but they've not seen a defense like Oklahoma's, and I think this offense is going to struggle. You're looking at Oklahoma's defense so far. They've allowed 19 combined points in the first 3 games. This defense is really, really good. You're looking at Arnold, who we know didn't really work out in its previous destination. Now he's been pretty good at Auburn. But against South Alabama, Ball State, and Baylor, not many great defenses in there. We saw Oklahoma shut down Michigan, only giving up 13 points there at home. I think it's going to be a pretty tough environment for Arnold. I think he'll struggle. I think Oklahoma might go up early and coast, kind of like the Michigan game, but I think this total's a bit high. Give me the under. I see it landing somewhere in the low 40s.
All right, we're off to a great start. We're taking it under when Auburn faces Oklahoma. Or are we, Dre Richardson? Do you agree or disagree with that play?
I am in total disagreement with this play. I was on the show this morning with Joe Madden, and my best bet for this game was the over 47. I think this is going to be a back and forth affair. I love revenge games. We haven't seen a lot of collapsing on the defense for Oklahoma yet, but we have seen Auburn against Baylor, and they gave up 419 passing yards, 3 touchdowns to Sawyer Robinson. And I do think that Oklahoma puts up a lot of points here, but all I need is about 20 points from Auburn. I think I can get that to get this over, this total.
All right, so already we are off to a disagreement. That's all right. Someone's got to win the game. Up next, we've got number 21 Michigan at Nebraska. Dre Richer up first. The total's 46.5.
I want the under in this game specifically because I know that Michigan's offense has been wishy-washy. They did do well last weekend, but that was against a much inferior competition. They still aren't doing well in the pass game. I don't trust them to be able to do the same here at Nebraska. Maybe if it was in Michigan, I might be more inclined to go with the over, but I don't see Nebraska letting them get big yards off of huge passes or runs. So give me the under here. I don't believe in Nebraska's offense either. So
you hear that? You hear that, Nebraska? And your offense? Trey Rich doesn't believe in you. Scott Reichel, how do you feel about him?
Yeah, we're going to disagree again. I'm going to go with the over in this game. Michigan, offensively, I'm hoping might have found something that carries over into this game, scoring 63 last week. Underwood, we know, is a freshman. He's looked better each week, and he had a very good game against Central Michigan last week. Nebraska, though, has been great offensively. Yes, against weak competition, but still, they have scored at least 59 points in 2 straight games. This total just feels too low to me. I understand that you can argue that both defenses might look sharp. Nebraska's defense, though, has really not been tested yet. Beat Cincinnati and then played Akron and Houston Christian. So not really much of a sample there. For Michigan, defense has been fine. Gave 24 to Oklahoma. Oklahoma, though, kind of coasted there towards the end. But I think this total's a bit low. I think it could finish somewhere in the low 50s. The quarterbacks, though, have been good. Underwood, we know, has a ton of talent. And you are looking at the Pat Mahomes impersonator being the quarterback there for Nebraska, who's been pretty good this season too. I think this total is just a bit short. I think it doesn't have to be a high-scoring game. I think each team should get into the mid-20s, and that's good enough to get this game over. So I'll go over. I think it will land somewhere in the high 40s, low 50s.
All right. Sometimes good enough is good enough. And that's what Scott Reichel's going with. All right. Up next, we've got a little in-state battle happening. Florida is taking on a number 4 Miami. That number set at 51.5. Scott Reichel, what say you?
Well, I'm going to go with the under with the Florida game. I took the under the last time I was on against LSU, and that game flew under. Lagway, is he good? We're not really sure yet, but he's not been that great recently, and Florida's offense fallen off a cliff. They've scored less than 17 points in 2 straight games. Also mentioned in history, of course, with the in-state rivalry, 4 of the last 5 meetings did go under 45 points. And this is at 51.5. Miami's offense has been very good with Carson Beck. I am aware of it, but Florida's offense is an absolute mess right now. The defense, though, is fine. Held LSU in check. I think this total feels pretty high because I don't trust Florida's offense doing much in this game. I'll go with the under. I think it'll end somewhere in the 40s.
Beautiful. All right, Dre, how do you feel about this one? Over or under 51.5 in this showdown in the great state of Florida?
Well, this will be our first agreement because I'm also taking the under in this in-state rivalry. This hasn't gone over 50 since 2003. Once since 2003. And I know last year was a really weird year for Florida. So Miami had, of course, Cam Ward. He was doing his thing, and he put up 49 on them. But this is going to be a different battle. I don't believe in Carson Beck either. I'm a Georgia fan, and I know about him, and I just don't think that he's going to be able to put up that much on this defense. Because one thing about Florida is that they are back defensively. They held LSU to 20 points. That was a tough ask. They're number 3 right now in the nation. So I think it's going to be under the total.
Okay, so we finally have an agreement. We always like it when our cappers agree. Those are our consensus plays. They tend to be the best bets on the show. Although I will say in Total Chaos 2.0, we've had a lot of disagreements and a lot of ties throughout our first 2 weeks of episodes. So kind of a fun turn of events that's happened in Total Chaos land. Okay, up next, Dre Rich, you're going to go first. It's number 9, Illinois, at number 19, Indiana. The number on this one is a 52.5.
I was torn between this game, but I will take the over in this game. Indiana, we know they can put up points. They've had a great year last year with the new coach. He's been doing very well, and at home, they definitely are up to putting up points and running the score up. Illinois is going to be a tough ask because they also can put up points. I think it's going to be more of a shootout than anything, so I'll take the over in this one.
Okay, Scott Reichel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I like the over in this game. I like the quarterbacks involved. You're looking at Altmaier, who I've been a fan of for a while. I think he's actually a very underrated quarterback nationally. You're also looking at Mendoza, who's been quite good for Indiana. Mentioned the quarterback stats so far this season. Altmaier, 8 touchdowns, no picks. Mendoza, 11 touchdowns and no picks. Illinois is averaging 45 points per game. Indiana said, hold my beer. We're going to average 52 points per game so far this season. And neither team's played great competition. Illinois did beat Duke 45-19. So I can see a pretty high-scoring game here. The defenses, I think, might be underrated, but at the same point, Indiana's really played nobody. Old Dominion, Kennesaw, and Indiana State. I think both defenses are going to struggle against these quarterbacks and against these offenses. Give me the over. I see this game turning into a shootout.
All right, I'm giving it to you. You can have it. It's the over. Over 52.5 points when Illinois takes on Indiana. All right, Scott Reichel, last one of the round. You're up first. Michigan State is at USC. USC's ranked number 25 in the country. 56.5 is the number on that total. Does it go over or under 56.5?
This one I thought was a bit tricky because the line's pretty high for Michigan State, but I am going to go with the over in this game. USC has been very solid offensively at home this season. They scored at least 59 points in each of the first 2 home games. One was against an FCS school, other was against Georgia State. Beat Purdue last week, but Michigan State did win against Youngstown FCS team. Gave up 24 points. Not really a great showing there by the defense. The game before that, Boston College ended up landing 82. Went to overtime, but the point is they did give up a lot of points recently. I don't trust this defense. We know USC has a ton of big playmakers, and with that being the case, I can see a couple of really long touchdowns in general by USC. Decent pace as well. And I do think that Michigan State's quarterback's underrated with Childs, who has taken a step forward comparing last year to this year. I'll go over. It's a somewhat high total, but I understand it. USC at home might drop 40+. It wouldn't shock me. Give me the over in this game.
Yeah, a lot of times we say it's high for a reason. So, Dre, do you agree? Is it high for a reason, or is it just too many points?
It's definitely high for a reason. I'm going to take the over as well in this game. USC, they focus more on offense overall. They are not a very good defensive unit, and I think Michigan State has picked up the pace since the beginning of the season. They're going to be able to get the ball upfield, especially on the ground, and as well as the receiver Nick Marsh. He's been coming on very fast, and I think that they're going to be a lot of downfield plays on both sides of the ball, especially from the USC side. They're going to be able to probably do more of the heavy lifting, as Scott said in the beginning. So let's take the over in this one.
Okay, well, that was a really good round of Total Chaos. Everyone, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Tell these guys thank you for 3 consensus plays. Those are our money makers on the show, but for all the free picks and hard work that they do for us. And drop your comments down below. Let us know what you think. Who are you rooting for? Who do you think is sharp? What games do you like? What totals are you playing this week? So let us know what you think. Drop it in the comments. Hit the like button. I'm going to do a little recap for you guys, but before I do, I want to let Scott and Dre introduce themselves real quick. Tell you guys where you can find them and what you can expect to see over at picksandparlays.net or Winners and Winers. Scott Reichel, what's your story?
So you can find me doing a bunch of podcasts with SGPN as well, all free on Twitter. So check out my Twitter. Besides that, working for Winners and Winers. Of course, I'm guest appearing on your show. Hopefully again next week. No pressure on me trying to defend my title. But looking forward to being on more shows with you. And of course, check out my podcast, all free on my Twitter at Reichel Radio.
All right. Dre Rich, tell the people who you are and where they can find you.
Of course, I'm Dre Rich, part of Picks and Parlays. I also have a upcoming podcast called Money Huddle. We post 3 times a week, and as well as the plays I post on Picks and Parlays, they also come with prop bets, so you're getting more money for the things that you're paying for on the site. So check it out.
I really, really like that idea. I think all cappers should do that. In case you guys missed that, Dre, if you buy one of his premium plays at picksandparlays.net, he's going to add 2 or 3 player props in with that play, just as little freebies, because he's already capping out the game, sees a couple things he likes, and he throws them in there. So if you're a player prop person or you're dabbling in player props, he's got some good packages over there for you. So check them out and check out Reichel Radio over on X. Okay, so here is your recap. We're talking Auburn and Oklahoma, 47.5. Reichel goes under and Dre is going over. We've got Michigan at Nebraska. Reichel's going over and Dre goes under. Now, these last 3 games are your moneymaker games. Florida at Miami is a 51.5. They both say it goes under the total. Illinois at Indiana, 52.5. They say it goes over, and another over when Michigan State takes on an offensive-heavy USC at home. That's this round of Total Chaos, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, and like I always say, may the best capper win.